all I've wanted to do is get back in here. There's been a lot going on in the world, in LA.
A lot.
For sure. A lot of great holidays, stuff going on before LA was
fires,
on fire.
More fires.
Lot to unpack and go through. So I'm really excited to be here today, and most excited to get it going for the new year.
Welcome back, Brandon, and welcome back, Kory. It's good to see you guys.
When was the last time we taped? It has been a while. It was before the Christmas party.
Who was the last person that we had on? It was...
it was Rudy. The young guy.
Rudy.
Was it Rudy?
Oh, my God. Yeah. Dude, that must have been December 10th or 8th or something, no?
That might have been November.
Not even before that.
No, Brandon, you left December 6th.
Yeah, so I went in December. I went to Reno for a few days. Reno's a very interesting place. We had fun, but it's just a funny little town. But what do they call it, by the way? I think it's like the biggest little city or something like that. Yeah, it's just a funny, like it's like a Vegas, but it's just not
Reno,
quite
but
obviously.
You're right,
because Vegas is kind of a small town.
Vegas is kind of too, right? But Vegas, you got kind of the glamour and these big buildings, and Reno, and I don't want to offend any, Renoites. And my family actually lives there, my cousins, and so that's why I was in town for a graduation. But no, it's just a weird place. It's just, I guess you could say that about LA. But it's just like, you kind of roll around, it's a little gritty, and you're kind of like, I don't know. I guess as an out-of-towner, I wasn't really sure what to do, but we had a good time. Went to the graduation, and we.
Is Reno on a decline or is it going up or going down?
On the upwards? I don't know.
For me, it seems like it's always stayed flat. Like
it's always kind of what it is, I think. Yeah, but you know what? It's cool. Like I grew up going there, hadn't been there in a number of years, and it was cool for the kids because we made it kind of like a couple-day trip. So we rode up the 395 from LA. We stayed in a little town called, I think, Bishop, and stayed there for a night. Really cool. Went into Reno for a couple of days, and then we actually went to Mammoth too for the day. Played in the snow. Mammoth had a ton of snow left over from November, so kids had a blast.
And you ski, Brandon?
I can ski and snowboard, but I did not because I was there with the missus and the kids, and I didn't really have a chance to break away. Yeah. But no, I want to teach Vincenzo how to start.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have two boys, but they don't ski, and I've skied, when I was younger stuff, but I'd love to ski, but they don't ski, so you don't go up there.
So it doesn't snow here.
It's hard to do it here if it doesn't snow. Yeah, but most years you can go to Big Bear and you can go, but see the thing with Big Bear, right? It's like it might take until December or January to really get any snow, and then it's melting by March. Right. So it's a very small window.
Yeah,
but
we used to go to Mountain High, Snow Summit.
Yeah, but it's like not the greatest. But
I'm from New York. I got it. I can.
New York's got the snow. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So Kory, did you skiing or snowboarding?
I
both?
Started off skiing.
Okay.
And I'm definitely a better skier than snowboarder.
Okay.
Because I really still can't figure out how to stop on snowboards. Like I still haven't.
Yeah. Which way do I carve?
That's right, Kory. It's just stopping. Knowing how to stop is the key to skiing.
Right. And it's just pretty straightforward on skis.
Because skis you just do the little V thing, but
that way or
similarly, so I started skiing because my dad always skied, so I probably skied for like 7-8 years, and then we made the switch to boarding when boarding was getting really popular, and Dano did too, my dad.
Oh wow!
And so for years we both snowboarded, and then he kind of decided maybe I'll get back into skiing, and so he's gone back that way, and I still board. But I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'll try the other side here soon again.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool to be able to do both, I guess. They got all kinds of stuff though. I saw they doing they have like scooter ones. I saw these guys on what look like rollerblades. They're just I guess little skis, but they're just like little rollerblades, and they're dipping down the mountain. I saw like an Instagram reel on it the other day. I was like, holy, they're thinking of everything up there.
Like mini skis.
They're like mini skis. Yeah. They're just as big as they're like a rollerblade. They're like as big as barely bigger than your foot, and the dude's just dipping down the mountain, and I'm like, wow. Yeah. Kind of interesting. Yeah. So. But yeah, so December, I was up there, came back from Mammoth, and then went to New York, as you know. New York was a blast. Dude, I love New York City. I know you just said you're from there. Dude, New York is, what an amazing place. So I grew up going to New York quite a bit, and I hadn't been in like 10 years. And, you hear all the things in the headlines. Oh, New York's gone to hell, and all the migrants and all these things. Basically the same shit they say about LA.
Same thing they say about LA.
Same thing they say about LA, but, LA happens to be pretty nice in the areas we hang out, right? Of course, there's some bad areas, but, so I didn't really know what to expect, and we spent a couple nights in Brooklyn, which was amazing, right near the I guess, is it Dumbo down under Manhattan Bridge, and there's like right by the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't know. We were there for a few days and then went to Manhattan the rest of the time. And I was hoping it would snow. It did not, but it was amazing trip. And I mean, could you guys move to New York? I mean, I know you haven't been to New York yet yourself, but like, could you move back there since you grew up there, Kory? Or
I would move back to New York if I
Manhattan?
had like way more money.
Yeah.
I would need way more money.
Yeah.
Like I feel like for the amount
because it's like twice the amount of Los Angeles, like the rents.
When everything's small.
My
spaces are
$120,000.
Right.
This $120,000 a year does a lot better in LA than
Right?
it does in New York.
Yeah, somebody said to me, you have to live in Manhattan, you either have to be young or rich.
Yeah.
Because if you're young, you kind of put up the quirkiness of a small place, and like your money doesn't go as far because everything's so expensive.
Right.
If you got a lot of money, then you can go buy spend $8 million on an apartment, and who cares, right? But it's like that in between is kind of hard, I guess. But I don't know. But I love New York. I told Morgan, I was like I would like to just live here for like even a summer, just like I mentioned that to you, or a year, right? Like, and just try it out.
That'd be fun. We'd have if it was just a summer.
Just summer in New York, right?
Yeah, that'd be.
I mean, the mystique is like that. Is that city by the bay? Same with San Francisco.
Oh,
you have
great city.
North of town. You have northern. What is it?
North Beach.
North Beach.
Yeah.
You have the Chinese. You have all these different boroughs and districts, and just this history. It really is cool. All the older buildings.
Right.
You get a sense of a city. You get a sense of a community, neighborhood, whatever. LA is so spread out that you don't.
LA
really
spread
get
out,
that.
and I've been to Denver, Houston, a lot of these big cities and stuff, and nothing really feels like New York or San Francisco.
Yeah.
Those are definitely the two, at least in my travels, those are the two cities that have
I
that, what you're
agree.
talking about, that sense of character. One street's different from the other.
And
Every
you're right on
neighborhood
the-
has its own little feel.
You're on the ocean. There's something about that too. Being
Yeah.
near the beach or whatever. But it's
Yeah.
really cool.
No, so it was a blast. I mean, I had such a good time. And then, of course, we got back and we had an amazing Christmas/holiday party. It was
That was so
amazing.
much fun.
Oh yeah,
Man,
Yeah.
Kory was there.
There was
And Kory, what do you
magicians.
think about that
There
thing?
was magicians and
We had-
magicians,
and bands
Yeah.
and DJs.
Yeah.
I was drunk.
I
It was so much fun.
I called out that magician though. He had a trick that he was using some
coin?
fake- yeah,
Yeah, the
fake
coin.
coins.
Well, when he invited me up, I really didn't know what he was going to do. And
Oh,
he
yeah.
made me help him levitate the chair or the table. But at first I was really kind of a little nervous about it. I'm like, what the hell is he about to make me
He
do?
was gonna
Like,
make you.
put me in a box or
Right.
something? Like,
It saw you in half.
But yeah, so we did it at the Waldorf Astoria here in Beverly Hills. Shout out to
Bougie.
those guys, great hosts. It was a fantastic night.
I had to go buy an outfit.
Everybody, what's that?
I had to go buy an outfit.
Dude, and you looked fucking
That's
amazing,
right.
bro.
I appreciate it. So did y'all.
You
It was-
killed
it
it.
was-
You
it
killed
was-
it, bro.
it was good.
No,
That was good.
And you know what? It was funny because one, I took a little heat internally because it was kind of like, let's throw something for the Christmas party, and maybe do something a little modest. And then I go, with Greg's help, so he was just as guilty.
Yeah.
We go
Partner
book the
crime.
Waldorf, and we
Right,
start spending the money, and then our partners are kind of like, but
I got a good role because I go with Brandon. I love these ideas and stuff. But if there's any blame, I just shift it over to Brandon.
well, if it's one thing that we could do, it's be really bad when we're shopping for something. It's like, okay, here's our budget. Then we're like, let's really make this like a little extra special. And so, and then the other thing was like the dressing up, right? Because a lot of people initially wanted it to be a little bit more casual. And so I kind of pushed more to have like, let's have everybody
Black
get into
tie.
the spirit a little bit,
Yeah.
dress up a
Okay.
little bit. I know people don't always want, but, and it was such an amazing night. It was just,
Really?
yeah, like you said.
So much fun.
Yeah, and I appreciate, we appreciate everybody coming, and dude, it was such a good turnout. So,
Yeah, the venue,
couldn't have been better.
fantastic, right? And then when everybody gets together,
Greg was over here on the dance floor, just getting
yeah.
crazy, Jack and Coke, just dancing, tequila shots, and
My wife likes to dance, so I got.
Dude, Cindy was tearing it up out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
no, it was cool.
it was fun.
But and I know we're gonna kind of edge into kind of recent events and stuff. But what
Yeah.
about you guys? Anything else in December? I know things were flying, but anything else
I don't know
notable
about
that
you,
was?
Kory, but we had a rough holiday season because one of my wife's family members came out from South Dakota, and they have a young baby. The baby's amazing, cute little baby. But the baby got sick, stomach flu, and then it just got passed.
Oh,
and
you all got
passed,
sick.
and everybody got sick.
Oh,
So
damn.
during Christmas, you guys were
During
all,
Christmas, yeah.
That's no fun.
Kind of bad, yeah, no fun, but
eh,
we still had
better now.
We
You
still
had
exchanged
eggnog.
gifts.
Yeah, you still got gifts. You still got your
I
sweater.
still got a sweater and a pipe. Yeah.
My holiday season was very low key this year.
Yeah.
My sister flew out to town for my birthday, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so much fun, and she got here the fires broke out at 10 a.m. and maybe she landed at 2 p.m.
Wow.
And then my birthday was the day that everything tasted like ash and everyone.
By the way, man, happy birthday. 'Cause I remember you saying a while ago that your birthday was in January, and I just totally which day was it exactly?
It was the 9th.
January 9th.
You're
okay.
a Capricorn.
I'm a Capricorn.
Same here.
Happy birthday,
That's
man.
why I
Because
get along with Kory.
he's the third, so yeah.
I'm the third.
Oh,
Yeah.
happy
Yeah,
birthday.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most definitely.
January, guys.
Most definitely.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was weird. It was oof.
So you weren't able to celebrate.
Oh, we couldn't do anything. Like,
You didn't
and
do
then like
anything,
she's just like she's just crying. And, like, and I'm just like,
Yeah, not only did you not celebrate, but you were
yeah, she was
in
having
depression mode.
she was having a yeah. I was like, man, like, and it was like everything in the tone in LA was off that day.
Yeah.
Dude, it was off for a second.
yeah.
I mean,
For a
it
few
was
days. The
it
time
was
in
a
LA
few
was
days.
off.
Everybody was just like, "What is
Yeah.
going on?" I mean,
Right.
I think jumping into that a little bit, like, every time there's usually a bad fire, like we live in California, so it's fires and earthquakes, right? First of all, I sleep through every earthquake. I've never really felt one, and it's just funny. People that don't live for like, aren't you worried about the earthquakes? I'm like, I never really noticed them. Now I should knock on some wood because I don't want to like jinx myself.
You
later
never
on or
felt
something,
one?
Well, not really. It seems like every time it's always like driving, or I'm driving. It's hard. I guess they say it's hard to feel it if you're in the car,
Yeah.
or like I'm sleeping. I'm a heavy sleeper because it's always like the next day. Morgan's like, there was a fire, not a fire. There was an earthquake last night. Did you feel that? I'm like, dude, I was asleep. I did not feel shit. Like, no, I did not. So I don't know. Like, yeah, maybe I have at one time, but with the fires, right? It's usually some random place. Like, don't get me wrong. We've had fires in LA. We've had fires in Orange County and Temecula and stuff. But it might be like, okay, this field's on fire. There's some flames by the freeway for a couple hours and they put it out, right? But like usually, like, when was the last big one in California? I think was the Paradise Fire that wiped out that whole town, right?
Right.
And that was like
2019?
insane.
Yeah.
And we were
Northern
like,
California,
and we were like,
yeah.
how did that even happen? And then, when you think of LA, at least I do anyway, it's kind of like LA is kind of a concrete jungle. But that's really not a true statement,
No.
right? That's how I think of it, because I think of LA, the city, but when you really think of Hollywood Hills, Malibu, obviously Palisades, all these areas, there actually is a lot of brush.
There's a lot.
And
And even like I'm from New York. It's like a concrete jungle.
that's
no
a real
trees.
concrete jungle in New York.
There's
That's a
no
good point.
trees.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Out here, there's brush and
There's brush
trees
everywhere.
and shit everywhere.
Yeah. I was
I
driving
guess
to
there
Bakersfield.
is,
going
I
through
just
the
never really
Grapevine.
looked at it that way.
But all through the Grapevine and until you get out towards Bakersfield, it's all just dry, brush everywhere. And just one match, will set the whole fucking. And sure enough, 2 days ago they had the Castaic
fire.
Yeah, and
It's just it's just crazy. Like, again, I would have never thought, because it is always in some random little area usually. I mean,
That it would have done this,
I would have never thought that we'd be sitting here at the start of 2025 and saying, LA looks like a nuclear bomb went off in the Palisades and Malibu and some of these areas in Pasadena or Altadena area.
Yeah.
Right. These areas are just, they got decimated, and it's
Yeah.
like horrible
And-
because.
I was just gonna say that people have lost, obviously
exactly
their
what I was
houses,
saying.
but they've lost all those memories. And
Things that can't be replaced.
They
They
cannot be
were talking about how, like,
replaced.
when there's a flood or a hurricane or an earthquake or something shitty, that that you can go and like kind of like pick up, rebuild, or like you can grab some stuff.
Right.
Like, not everything is just gone.
Yeah.
Versus in like a fire where there's just nothing.
It's just-
nothing's there.
It's
just,
nothing.
yeah. I mean, it looks like a bomb went off. Like, most of these houses are leveled, and
Yeah.
I haven't been over there. I want to go over and take just a look. I don't know if they're letting people take a look, but the point is, like, it's just.
I know.
I'm sure it's like probably the emotions that'll overwhelm you just standing there looking at the destruction, but looking at the pictures, it's like insane. What's
Yeah,
happening.
it's hard. I mean, when you get older, like you need those old mementos to kind of think about and just for it to be gone, immediately gone.
Yeah, and then you got the financial side of, like, California's been in one of the worst insurance markets, for the last couple of years basically now. And, a lot of people have either been dropped by their insurance carriers or they just haven't been able to get any private insurance. And so, California does have what's called a FAIR plan, which is basically their government-provided insurance. So if you can't get insurance on a property in California, you can always, the fail-safe is you're supposed to be able to go to FAIR plan. The rates are a little higher, the coverage isn't as good, but you do have an insurance policy. But the one flaw in that, among maybe some other flaws, is that it's capped at $3 million. And, that might sound fine for most people that have a $500,000 house or a $1.5 million house or whatever. But when you look at the Palisades and Malibu and like these places that burned down, a lot of these houses were worth a lot more than that.
Of money,
and a lot of these people now are pretty much, And by the way, you know, it's easy to say some of these people might be really rich and they could just rebuild, right? There's definitely a small percentage of that. But a lot of these people, we know we're in real estate. I was just talking to a few people the other day. A lot of these people, they inherited the house from their parents or grandparents, you know, and that's fine. But they're on like a regular income like everybody else. And this has been their family home. And now that's burned down. Or other people that just, you know, they just won't be able to rebuild. And
I mean, people are going to have to make choices. I think you're right, though. I think people, these elderly folks have lived in that house for 60 years.
They bought it for $70,000 $1 million years ago. And now it is an expensive house, but it's their home. And now they don't know where they're going to go and rebuild. And so, you know, and it's just, obviously, what's the how many people, you know, not to go morbid, but like I think 30 people have been confirmed, 20, 30 people have been confirmed dead. Lots of pets. I mean, wow, like what a crazy. Like, never would have thought that we'd be starting 2025 here in LA with that being like the thing, you know?
No, definitely not. I mean, the Palisades, the houses are really all beautiful. My friend's house is still standing. He's got one of the few houses in the Palisades. His parents' house is still standing. And the gorgeous home, one of the nicest homes I've ever been in.
Wow,
very, very nice house. But like it's all shrub. It's all shrub. Like there's shrubs everywhere. Like there's grass and trees and it's everywhere. And it is dangerous. Now people might actually start doing a little bit more because like, you know, and everybody's got like their gardens and their like LA likes all that like overgrown in an expensive house. This beautiful house with this really nice view but with like shrubbery everywhere. And it just, you know,
that's the problem. You know, like we've looked at a bunch of places because, you know, we're always toying with getting a bigger place now that we have, you know, 3 kids popped out and everything. And, you know, we looked at some places up in like Laurel Canyon and that's kind of a one way in, one way out. And every time we do, I always tell Morgan, I'm like, it's not only that the house could burn down, it's that, God forbid, we're stuck there trying to get out. And we're in a line and fire's coming, right? And I think people were in that same boat.
They had to abandon their cars and leave them there.
It's insane. So it's definitely something that's got to be tackled. Obviously, there's a lot of
there's solutions. Like this one guy, this story. I don't know if you guys saw it. He had a house on Malibu, but I don't know if it was a year ago, before, or 2 years prior, or whatever. He started taking training for fire classes and how to prepare and how to tackle fires. He got real fire, you know, hoses. He ordered a bunch of, like 8 of them. He bought fireman jackets. He saved his house and he saved some neighbor's house. Why don't we do that in every neighborhood? Somebody, Brandon, you be the guy.
I'll be the fire marshal guy in this neighborhood.
But seriously though, you know, if you had one guy that was trained, maybe it's
100%.
back to the people.
And you know what? I know it's like there's politics on both sides, and sometimes when you're in the middle of like a disaster, it's not really the right time to be like pointing fingers at people, right? There's been a lot of that going around. But LA and California, they do need to take a zoom out. No matter who's in office and what, you know, mayor, governor, whoever, everyone needs to take a zoom out and go, okay, guys, it's 2025. We're like trying to send people to Mars at some point, maybe. I don't know. But, you know, we got AI that can write a novel for you in an afternoon. There should be a way to figure this situation out.
The Chinese are fighting fires with drones. I've seen some, they had the drone.
Well, now, Kory, Kory, that was the problem. That was the problem, though. The fucking winds were 100 miles an hour that night.
That's true. High winds for sure. No, but it's funny you mentioned the drone because I didn't go down that rabbit hole yet, but I was thinking, and I was talking to someone, I started thinking, because I was watching the video of like the big planes having to scoop the water, and they take they drop a lot of water, but they take forever to go. And I started thinking, I was like, dude, wouldn't it be cool if there's like a football field of just all these freaking drones, and they just like hit a button and they all just go and start. They're just hundreds of them just dropping water, like, you know. It sounds like you're saying that maybe some of that already exists.
So they got like, it was literally, so they had like a drone. And it had like a hose attached to it, and it was spraying like fire retardant spray.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like this.
That's cool. That's a good solution.
I was like, oh, this is interesting. Yeah. But I feel like the solution is, well, there's a couple. LA really likes their like individual houses, and they don't like apartment buildings, and they don't like obstructed views. And there's a handful of things that like LA really doesn't, that don't vibe with how like LA really has been brought up as a city. But like, what I read on Twitter, it was like no one expected, you wouldn't have put on my 2025 bingo card that downtown LA would be the safest place in Los Angeles.
Are you? Literally. Said nobody ever. Right, exactly.
Right. Because there's nothing flammable over there.
Right.
There's a lot of people over there.
That is a concrete.
Concrete. There's nothing. There's not as much brush. But I think it'll be like new, like urban planning. Like, how do we design houses so that there is somewhat of a perimeter? There has to be to be.
You can't just sprinkle a bunch of houses next to the Runyon Canyon Trail or something and expect they're not gonna. Yeah.
There just needs to be like 4 or 5 feet of maybe like uninterrupted cement between properties.
I totally agree.
So that like without like a bunch of trees and shit. Between it to make it prettier.
Well, because Kory, you're totally right, and that kind of goes back to me. What you're going to say is that, like, you know, there needs to be some forward planning also from the government, again, whoever's in office, to say, hey, listen, maybe we need to pull back some of this. There needs to be some, you know, listen, I'm no fire expert. I will tell everybody that, but you know, controlled burns or taking the bulldozers out and scraping some of the hills when the brush is getting too over. You know, I understand there's environmental
trimming the trees.
You know, trimming the trees. I understand from the environmental standpoint, people don't want to kill the rats and the squirrels and the mice and the whoever's out there, right? But you know, there needs to be some pulling back of that. So that it's not just a timber box waiting to go up, right?
Yeah.
There's also a question of making sure there's adequate water. You know, there's that, but so it's a combination: construction methods, how we actually fight the fire when the time comes, and so I think, and I believe there will be a big zoom out. I think the whole country is looking at this. There's gonna be a lot of lessons. You know, I'm a little more optimistic on on at least hoping that everyone's gonna take a big lesson from this and say, listen, we need
responsibility personally.
We need to figure this out. You know?
Like the perimeter around our houses. I totally agree with that, Kory. It's like the neighborhood should get together and just fucking clear it. You know, it's like
something's got to be done.
Because
maybe you should run for mayor, Greg.
Yeah, but you can't just say to yourself, "Oh, my problem's going to be fixed by the mayor or the city." It just you got it. But anyways,
it's kind of a collective.
Yeah.
I think is what it is. But I mean, listen, like, so we got evacuated for, a week basically. I mean, we could have come back sooner, but it was like everything was going crazy. So we left, and I didn't want to actually leave. It was one of those things where the phones are blown up with the emergency thing. You must leave. And
that's what was making my sister cry.
That's what made her cry.
It was the emergency blowing up.
Well, it's scary when they come, and I was sitting there a couple Chianti glasses deep, and we're having some pizza, and we're hanging out, and Morgan's like, we got to go. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to finish my pizza and my wine here. Like, what the hell? So, I loaded them up and said, hey, babe, you go to safety. You take the kids and the pets. Go to Orange County. I'm going to stay back for a couple hours. Because for me, I felt like it was the right thing to do. As long as the family's safe, I wanted to make sure the neighbors weren't freaking out. Like, did they need help with their pets? Was everybody cool? So I hung around for a little bit. Everybody was cool. And turns out the flames for the sunset fire, which is the one closest to our house, got put out relatively quickly. So and nobody on our street, like, for example, had the house burned down. So it was cool. I still left that night, and we stayed away for a while because, fortunately, we had some in-laws. We have some in-laws in Orange County.
And I think things flared up again, and they were.
But it's just it's like even Morgan is she's been off for 3 months because we had our daughter Jana, as you guys know, in end of October, and so anyway, she's set to go back to work this Sunday as her first day back. And she's going to a new tract. She used to work in Porter Ranch. Now they're sending her to like Santa Clarita, Clara, over by the Did
they sell out?
By Six Flags. Yeah. So the point is, she's all excited to start this new track, and then this fire pops up, the most recent one, and now her coworkers are like, you may not be able to cut. Like, we might have to be closed down for a week or whatever. So I don't know. Hopefully, I guess we're gonna get some rain. So hopefully the rain will help.
Sunday,
right?
Maybe a little Saturday.
But it's just been crazy. I think everybody's excited to hopefully get the fires behind us. And
it has been crazy, holidays and everything else. But that's like kind of lead to my kind of issue or topic was, how do you stay focused? I mean, we're in real estate business and development and apartments and stuff like that, and that has issues of itself. But how do you stay focused and grounded with all this noise around you?
Well, dude, it's tough, and I think answering it, at least for myself quickly, is like since the holidays ended and then getting through all the fires and we were at the in-laws house again and got back home, like I've been trying to get up a little earlier. I've been trying to for sure hit the gym 5-6 days a week again, right? Because during the holidays I was slacking off a little bit. I was getting a little so now I'm back on my routine. I've cut back the drinking a little bit, and I'm not a huge drinker, but during the holidays we're having a few glasses of wine a night most nights, and we're enjoying the holidays, right? And so now I'm kind of like paring that back to maybe once or twice a week. So for me, I feel like I've kind of leaned back into, okay, there's things I can't control, but if I can start kind of controlling my own mindset, my health a little bit going into the new year, and really lean into what's important as far as on the work front, because we got so much going on, it's kind of helped recenter me, just kind of getting back into the health thing a little bit.
You're able to control the things that you can control, and I feel like it gives you that security to just move forward. These little things that you can control, your health, and what time you get up and stuff like that.
Well, and I'll tell you one thing really quickly that kind of spurred it too was while the tail end of being at my in-laws, my mother-in-law, Kory, she was like, hey, I'm going to start my, she a couple times a year, she does these fasts, the 3-day water fasts or whatever. And I've done it once before, and I've been meaning to do it again. And but I've been putting it off because it's a little rough. If you guys haven't done it, some people, it's a little rough.
Just drink water for 3 days?
Just water 3 days. Not a smoothie, not a fruit, not an apple, not a vitamin.
Lemon water.
No. Just water. I mean, everybody interprets it differently. Some people will do it a little differently. For me, I'm kind of more like, if I'm going to do it, I'm just going to do it this way. So anyway, Kory's like, I'm gonna do this. You want to, and I was like, shit, because I knew in my head, I'm like, I've been wanting to do this again, and again, eating like crap and drinking all this through the holidays. I was like, dude, I got to do something to fast track the health thing. So anyway, I ended up, did the 3-day water fast. I started it there and I finished it the day we came back to LA. But it was funny because just doing 3 days without eating, like, first of all, there's a huge amount of mental clarity that happens because it's a weird thing. The first day, the first day I was just like, food, but then day 2, I'm just like, no, I don't need to eat. I don't need to eat for 100 days. Like, it's weird. Your brain just like shifts.
You're like, and then you still delusional.
You still go in you still go in and out of like
fugue state.
Well, the worst is like I'll walk into the kitchen and someone just like, made some pizza or made some pasta, or I don't know, they were making meatloaf or something, and I was just like, dude, this is horrible. Yeah. So I'd have to leave. But but the point is this is my second time doing the 3-day water fast, and I would definitely recommend it. Both times I've done it, I probably lost at least like 12, 13, 14 pounds, like for sure, low double digit like pounds, like just in 3 days. A lot of it's water weight and whatever, bloating, but you drink and eat too much for enough months, you kind of get some of that stuff, right? So it really trims you up a little bit. A lot of mental clarity. They say, again, I don't know, but they say, it helps fight diseases and all kinds of things because, we were made to sort of take gaps in eating. That was always how we were back, hunter-gatherers, I guess, whatever. But, like, it's not really healthy to just pack food in your body constantly. Oh, yeah. Now, I think the smaller way to do it, like intermittent fasting, for example, right? Like a lot of people will, go 12 hours or 18 hours between, eating. So if they stop eating at like 8 p.m. and then they don't eat the next day until 12, that's also really good for your body, right? Sprinkle that in, right? You kind of give your body a break. Yeah. But the 3 days, it really just restarts everything because everything's kind of detoxed. Yeah. Your body, all your organs had a break from having to work and do any digesting. And but it's funny because then when you start, like, you break the fast and your stomach is like this big, so you have to eat like a bird for the first like maybe 24 hours, and there's a whole way on breaking the fast, bone broth and certain things you do to kind of like really, but no, it was good. So for me, it was like I did the 3-day fast. And then after that, trimmed up a little bit. I felt good. I was like, okay. So then since then, I've like been very conscious about my diet. I've been hitting the gym every day, and I just feel good. So, I know I'll have plenty of time to go off the rails a little bit and eat and drink a little too much. But at least right now, I'm in a good place with the moderation. Health. I'm really looking forward to just like continuing that for the moment out of the gate for the new year, you know? So hopefully that maybe inspires some other people to do their own health journey and whatever they're doing. But it just,
you need your health. You need your health. That's the only way you're going to like be able to tackle everything else,
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, Kory, you stay pretty trimmed up over there. What are you doing?
I don't do anything.
Just good genes or what?
I'm just like relatively active. I eat well.
Yeah.
I eat well, and I'm pretty. I take a lot of steps. I was looking at my average steps for the year, and I average about like 9,000 steps a day.
Wow. Damn. And so what are you doing? You're out there just like running around or what?
I don't think so. I'm just like you would think I'm
You're
really,
making your
like,
music videos.
I'm just dancing to some TikTok, and I guess it's burning these calories off. Keeping this tummy flat. I think.
But you're always conscious of what you're eating. You're exercising. So Kory, that's good.
I cook most of my stuff. They say make time for your health, so you don't have to take time for it later.
Yeah.
So your body don't take it for you later. And I like that concept. Like, I'm pushing up on 30, so I'm like, okay, I guess I should.
I got you by 10 years. I don't want to say what Greg's got you by.
I feel like I need to okay, let me get into some version of being healthier. Let me start these.
Dude, it is so important. And I know it's the cliche to say, but like you just hinted on, it's like, for me at least, like, I was 20, super fast metabolism, blah, 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 could eat anything. And then like getting into, maybe not right at 30, but like 33, 4, 5, like start to inch into like the deep into the 30s. Yeah. I noticed like, dude, if you're not careful, you get a little extra, a little pudgy over here, pudgy over there, whatever. But you start kind of, your body just changes a little bit, and so I think it's like, I don't know if it's that midlife, crisis kind of thing as far as the health kick, but it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, you stayed in really good shape, and it's just like, you kind of get to a point where you're like, I got to take this a little more seriously because I don't want to be like that 45-year-old dude that's like fat and bald and too winded to even like play with his kids or like, I don't know.
Can't touch his toes.
Can't touch his toes. Just
right.
like, just walking anywhere. So, but I mean, you do the same thing.
Really I mean, like Kory said.
A lot of rollerblading, avocado toast. What do you do?
Yeah. No, but what Kory said was, you're kind of always working on it so you don't have to work at it. Like I'm always watching what I eat, but I'll go off the rails. See, the thing is it's like if you starve yourself, and I'm not, no pun intended on that, because I think
Are you trying to starve shame right now?
I think that's a really good what you did, Brandon. 3 days. Yeah. I would need 3 days off though. I would be cranky as hell.
Trying to go to work and stuff.
I would need 3 days off.
I had to do calls with you about business topics.
Yeah,
so
you were a little cranky.
I was a little.
But I would need 3 days. But yeah, always working at it. Working at it. But I've always exercised. This sounds. Whatever. But when I played football in high school, but they had a big regiment, working out they have their gym there. So we did all the free weights so I kept that going, as I got older when I'd go to the gym.
That's something you're teaching the kids, dude, like that to like instill that like importance.
So I have a 21-year-old, Zachary. Zachary played football and he played rugby over at Redondo Union High School, and that's what he does. And so he's doing the same thing. He's always staying active. Right. I mean, it's already kind of built into your DNA.
Well, it's important. And I think, again, it's just like the most basic thing you can do. Like there's not a scientist in the world that will disagree with the fact that, if you have regular exercise and at least try to eat some, non-processed foods, your chances of, so many cancers and ailments and things are, way lower, know?
That's right.
We can debate on what the exact stats are, but the point is it's, the simplest thing that people know. Exercise 3 or 4 days a week and try to eat decently, And so, and do the exercise on the TikToks, whatever it is.
I'm trying to get I think I want to do calisthenics, like yoga. I would like to be more flexible. Good for you, too. I feel like that would be, a cool...
Yoga's a pretty good workout too. Right. When's the last time you did yoga?
Oh, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. I know I hadn't done it in a while too. I did the hot yoga.
You did, yeah.
Holy, I mean, I got my ass kicked.
That's stretching. You're stretching.
And I'm not gonna lie. I walked in there going, these girls aren't gonna what are they gonna do? I'm gonna be in here just doing push-ups and all my muscles. I went in there and I was like, dude, I got smoked, bro. These girls were upside down. They're doing upside down whatever's on the wall and just pumping and moving. I'm just like,
was it hot yoga? No.
Yeah. Oh. They cranked it to 120 or 130. I don't know what they cranked it, but they cranked the thermostat, and it's just 45 minutes, and they're just like. So I was soaked, and I was just looking at Morgan because she was laughing. I was like, dude, that was a pretty gnarly workout. That was pretty tough, but it was good. So fun.
You survived.
I survived, but no, listen. I mean, I think. I know we're going to be hitting time here in a second, but I'm excited to be back.
No, we're doing okay.
We good on time?
Yeah, we still got 20 minutes.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, I wasn't sure if for some reason I was thinking we were a little tighter, but I guess a lot going on all the personal and the fires, and we're all jamming up, getting ready to be the health kick here for the new year. What about the business front? So let's talk about a little bit of real estate for a second, a little bit of business. I mean, I feel like this is one of the busiest starts to the year, which is kind of a little crazy given all the things that have been going on that we just touched on. But we have new listings on the real estate brokerage that are coming out of nowhere. We got, we're working on closing our biggest acquisition ever, the 50-unit deal we've been talking about. We've had it in escrow for a couple of months. And we're within about 7 days of closing escrow on that bad boy. So much going on. You guys should see my desk right now. There's 500 pages of paper, literally just everywhere. There's contracts and legal things and stuff for the bank, and just all kinds of stuff going on. And then what else? We got construction projects maybe coming up. We got people that want us to start getting involved in the rebuilding of what's happening. So
I mean,
there's a lot happening right now.
There is a lot happening, and you got to stay mentally focused too. You can't go all over the place. But we're ramping up the building side of what we work on together. And the real estate stuff, I feel like it's still kind of in the fog. We haven't really started the year yet. You know what I mean? I don't think it's started yet. It's obviously it has started, but I mean, I feel like mentally and economically, we're still kind of on.
Well, I was mentioning that to someone the other day, and I'm like, it feels like. Yeah, it feels like we're about to be at February 1st, but it almost feels like it's about to be January. Maybe it was you I was talking. When we were on the phone, we were talking about that. It was like, somehow it feels like we're just starting the year from the standpoint of the calendar. But I mean, on the work front, it seems like, I don't know, aside from the fires, as soon as we got outside of the holidays, we had people calling us about listings.
Right.
We've got the 9 homes in the valley. We've got the new apartment building coming on. We got just so many things. And no, it's cool. But it's just funny because it's it's like, I don't know, like, it's kind of like one of those lessons where timing is not always right. And so here we have our biggest deal ever that we're buying, this 50-unit deal.
Right.
And we had tried to buy this thing from the seller. And we wanted to buy it last summer, right? Like, we were trying to buy it. Yeah, we were trying to buy it summer, maybe close it. Our original goal was, let's close this in September. It'd be great. We'll just have this brand new, beautiful property, and we'll get it done before the holidays so we can just chill during the holidays and whatever. And he just would not sell the damn thing to us. He was so like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So, and when we finally got him under contract, it was like basically October, right? And so
we rolling into the holidays.
And so now here it is, the holidays, election year, high interest rates. We're trying to raise money and get people to join us on the deal. And then it's fires and all kinds of stuff. And I'm just cracking up going like, and I said this to somebody the other day too. I think I said it to Kevin, but I was just like, dude, we have had everything thrown at us on this deal. And it's just one of those deals where it was like just so much to try to get this thing done. And it's cool though, because it's going to feel that much better when we actually see the words that you're the official owner, in the next 7 days. And it'll be, like I said to Kevin, it'll be a chapter in the book someday, but it's just
a lot.
Anything you're doing. But if you're doing like these big real estate deals in particular, timing's not always right, and there's a lot of moving parts, but you kind of just work through it, and then you hopefully will look back and laugh.
I think we've always stayed positive, like, going into this thing, and we were not reluctant, but it was going to be a little tough because it was the holidays and then everything else that happened. But I don't know, we stayed positive. I don't think any one of us ever said it couldn't get done. You know what I mean? So I think what is that? You send out the right signals and it comes back to you. We weren't negative on it. That's for sure. I don't think anybody was worried that we weren't.
Right. It's always been like that when anything we've ever bought. It's been a little bit of like bite off a little more than we can chew. But figure out how to get it done. Yeah. And I think that puts you in a position where you have to figure out how to make it happen.
You burn the boats.
Yeah, that's a good one. And, we definitely burnt the boats. Well, and just let's unpack just really quickly. So somebody's going, okay, yeah, but the details are like, what are you actually doing to close this deal, right? And so from a high level, right? Like, first of all, on this deal, we've got to raise $3 million. We've got to come up with $3 million just to close the escrow. It's actually like a $4 million raise because some of the additional money's for like reserves and renovations and stuff. But so during this time to buy this property, we've had to come up with $3 or $4 million. Some of that's our own money. Again, some of that we're going out to friends and family and investors and partners who are like, hey, I'll put 100 in, I'll put 500 in, I'll put 200 in. But that doesn't just happen magically. Right. People don't just give you $200,000 for a deal, right? So it's a lot of like making sure you have the right performas and your packages and sitting down with people and getting on Zooms. And so it's been a lot of that of raising the money. But it's also been getting ready for the takeover, right? Because when the day we close escrow on this thing, we got to be fully operational. It's like buying a business or something, right? Like the day we take over, we can't buy this property with 50 tenants in it and then just think once we own it, we can start figuring stuff out, right? So while we're trying to get the money together and we're trying to satisfy our lender and deal with all the legal documents and just push through the holidays and all that stuff, as far as the actual buying process, we've also been getting ahead of, okay, what's our plan? How are we going to deal, everything from software. How are the tenants going to pay? Because right now the tenants are paying rent a certain way, and we have a different software we're going to use. So when we take over, we got to integrate and onboard all these tenants. Right. We're working right now on pulling permits on the construction side because we have all this work that we're going to start right away. And so even though we don't own it, we're spending tens of thousands of dollars right now on basically getting with our architect and all the engineers and setting up a whole construction plan. So as soon as we take over, hammers can start swinging.
Right. They're all based, the engineers, architects, they're based there?
Up there. So these are local guys that we're paying up there. And so we're in all these construction meetings. So even though we don't own it yet, we're doing, 20 hours a week on just construction meetings. And then we got all this stuff. So it's this whole working machine that's already working for this deal that we
Brandon, why don't you tell the folks, zoom out for a second, because this is a typical, but a very good one, value add play. Yeah. That's a value add play, but describe that. What are we doing? Like hammers and permits and consultants? Yes, of course. But what is happening?
Yeah. So from a high level, this is a property built in the 60s. And it's still pretty much 60s vintage. Right. We're buying it from a gentleman that's owned it for quite a while, maybe 10, 15 years. And
kept it in that condition.
And pretty much kept it in that condition. There's a lot of land.
But kept it in that condition.
A lot of landlords that's their business model, right? And these are mostly old school people that have had these properties for a while, but they're kind of like, it's good enough. I get $1,300, $1,400 a month in rent. I'm fine with that number. I don't need to go above and beyond. We're kind of just going to keep it in similar condition. If something breaks, we fix it, whatever, but we're not doing any major upgrades, right? So the way we're looking at things is we're coming in and saying, well, wait a minute. We can come in and we can take the countertops from this old nasty Formica to granite or quartz. We can give the people new stainless steel appliances. We can bring them a washer and dryer stackable unit in the unit instead of them having to walk, 100 feet or 200 feet to go find a shared laundry room and then hope that it's available and then hope it's not raining, right? So we're bringing in all these, either aesthetic upgrades or structural upgrades. We're going to bring in like a little dog run area for all the pets. We're going to make a little lounge off the leasing office with, opens up to the pool area. Right now there's just a pool. We're going to look at adding a jacuzzi. And so we're just doing some different things that's going to bring it into this century for crying out loud. Yeah. Right. And in doing that, that's going to allow us to, of course, increase our rates a little bit. But, again, I think we've talked about this. We found in the past that a lot of the tenants at our other buildings that we renovated have thanked us later and said, hey, listen, I make what I make and I could afford to pay a few $100s more. And I'm glad to pay that few $100s more to have a nicer place to live in that I'm proud to bring my friends and family to, that I'm proud to come home to every day, because the way it's been, I've had a cheaper rent, but it's like I'm in this thing that looks like it's in 1960s. And it's
I think
kind
most tenants are like homeowners. You got pride of ownership.
You have pride over your apartment.
Yeah, you want. Yeah, I think most of them really love the fact that owners pay attention and take care of the property. Yeah, they appreciate that.
And don't get me wrong, there will be some percentage of those tenants that just aren't going to pay that extra amount of money, and they're going to find somewhere else to live, and we wish them all the best, and we're going to give them the time to do that. Yeah. But a lot of them are going to probably stay, and we feel like there's a big demand in this area for what we're doing as far as the.
Do you have to pay people to leave if they don't want to leave?
Well, so the way it works is if you're doing enough of a remodel. So like if you're just going to paint a building, you can't really just get rid of a tenant, obviously. But if they're in month-to-month leases.
So their lease has to be expired.
Right. So like this property, most of them, their leases have expired a long time ago. They're just month to month. The landlord's been fine with it. The tenant's been fine with it. So because they're month to month and because we're doing such a big renovation, because we're going to go in and spend $2 million is what we're going to spend, and we're ripping out walls and new electrical panels and washer dryer hookups and all these things we're doing. The state says, well, if that's the case, you can give the tenants that are month to month 60 days notice to vacate. You do have to give them 100% of their security deposit back, no matter what the condition of their unit is. Right. So maybe some of these people wouldn't have gotten their deposits back, but okay, you get 100% deposit, and you have to give them at least 1 month's rent. So effectively, you give them the last month rent free, or if they've paid it, you give them the cash value for it with their deposit, whatever it is. But effectively, it's almost like they're getting 2 months worth of rent if you figure deposit and the other, right? And then once it's remodeled, you have to give them the first option to come back at the new rate, but they get the first option to come back. So, we will be displacing temporarily some tenants, but we're going to work with people and follow the rules. And some people need a little extra time, or maybe some assistance paying the moving truck or something. We're definitely going to be open to those kind of things, but we're hoping that a lot of them do come back. And then regardless, we're kind of looking at it from the business side of, there's a big demand up there for these types of units. Right. This property is kind of sandwiched in a location where you've got a lot of high-end areas kind of around it, but this is more of like the value add. This is more of the, I don't want to say like the middle-class area. Maybe that's exactly what it is, but it's like within 5 minutes, people are paying $3,000 for apartments. And so this location, even after we remodel it and we're offering the apartments for like $2,000 a month, it's a really good play for someone to say, well, yeah, I might want to be over here, but paying $2,800 is a little more. I can go over here and pay $2,000, and this is a beautiful area, and they've just put all this money into it. So we think because of that, we're going to have a nice turnout as far as the demand for people just wanting to come off the street and lease it. We got a whole marketing plan. Hopefully not marketing plan and new management we're hiring. So no, we're really excited about it. We got a great plan, but it's been that, right? It's all these different things that we're getting ready for as far as the overall scope of the business plan that goes into making sure. And one of our investors said that to me the other day. He said, the reason I'm investing with you is because you guys are literally spending all this time up front, taking all the guesswork out of this thing. He's like, I know as soon as you close escrow, you're already going to have 13 things happening. He's like, I love that because you're not just waiting to say, okay, now we own it. We'll take a couple months to figure it out. And so he loves the fact, I guess, that for lack of a better term, that we're being proactive and we're spending all this time up front. But you have to do it because.
Well, that'll also get you profitable faster. That'll get you your result.
100%. You know, because the stakes are high. You know, when you're paying $8 million for a property and you're going to spend $2 million to fix it up, that's $10 million that went to work. And the only way that $10 million comes back is, you know, you got to get this thing to cruising altitude. You got to fix it up. You got to get it fully rented again.
And it's 55 units?
50.
Yeah, 50.
50
well,
units?
It may end up being 55 or 60 because it's on 3 acres of land and there's a lot of open spaces. So again, we're going to do the pet run area. We're going to do some barbecues and stuff. So we're going to sprinkle in some cool amenities, but there's also plenty of space to add some either ADUs or some new places. So we're thinking about maybe taking it from 50 to 55 or 60, you know, in a nice way. We don't want to do that at the expense of like, okay, no more grass for everybody and no more. Yeah. So we're going to it's going to be a mix of like open areas and amenities and then some new units.
I mean, the value of this was really the rents are way below market right now, and just because he hasn't really upgraded this piece of property, just maintained it.
Right.
So you know that's the real value. You know, the rents are way below market, and you know somebody comes in and does exactly what we're going to do, and creates a new value.
And exactly right. I think for us, the other draw was it's in an area that, you know, that's where we buy our properties. Obviously, we've talked about that. It's on 3 acres. So you've got, you know, this beautiful property really. And I think that's one of the things we always look for, right? You talk about this, like, you know, the Grant Cardone's thing of like when you pull up on a property, you have to think about the exit.
Right.
Because someday we will be selling it to someone else. Right. And, you know, you can fix up an interior of a property or paint the outside of it, but you can't change where it's located. And so you really want to look at something. When you pull up to a really nice apartment community and you see like, wow, like mature trees and all this open area and it just looks really nice, this neighborhood, and it's at the end of a cul-de-sac, you're like, wow, I could see somebody like really wanting to buy this from us later. And I could, more importantly, see a lot of tenants wanting to live here and make this their home. Versus sometimes we see stuff that might be a good deal on like the numbers, but you roll up on it and it's like, okay, it's like next to a railroad tracks and it's like in the middle of like 14 like business district or something. I don't know. It's just different, right? And so this property has a really nice feel. It's been 18 months, almost 20 months since we bought our last deal at BCGK. Yeah. We've been operating our portfolio and looking for our next big buy. So we've been very, cautious on what our next deal was going to be. And we got a good one. And so anyway, it's been driving us crazy in escrow for the last couple of months. And we're finally going to be able to go, ring the bell in about 7 days. Let's see. Yeah. And then we'll be able to get up there and maybe shoot some content and walk through the building when we first, take over. But no,
there's so much. That's where all the other content is.
Dude, that's where all the other content.
We just need to go.
Let's do it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
We go up to Sacramento.
Before, after. This is the plan. Meetings with this, and this.
Whole
this
bunch
is
of
how
stuff.
you do it. Are you kidding me? You just take the internet.
This is how we do it. Open book. Yeah. This is it. I'm excited. I think that's what we got to do. So, and then we got to just
we got to survive.
In the meantime, we got to get the podcast going and work everything else. And I'm excited. I think, by the way, next week we're gonna have a big lineup. So you guys got to keep tuning in because we appreciate everybody that has been tuning in and following along. Last year we did maybe a towards the tail end, and maybe a dozen episodes. This year, we're going to hit some bigger numbers. We're going to do one a week would be 52. Let's try to do like 75 episodes this year somehow. I don't know. That might be crazy. I'm throwing it I'm throwing it up there in the atmosphere right now. Yeah, Kory's over here like, Greg's like, okay, listen, if we get 40, it'll be pretty good. But I'm going to say we're going to try to hit 75 episodes somehow this year.
I think we will hit 52.
There you go.
I think we will hit 52, and I think
we'll
do some other.
And we'll do some other stuff?
We'll do some other things.
Let's do it.
Let's go, guys.
That's good.
It's good to be back.
We're back, baby. Let's go. All right, guys. That's a wrap. Bam.